Selepas itu, klik pada butang Join Now. Untuk langkah kedua, di sini anda akan diberi pilihan sama ada menggunakan Microsoft, Facebook atau akaun email. Tapi sebaiknya saya sarankan anda untuk menggunakan akaun email. Langkah ketiga, anda diminta untuk mengisi butiran lengkap sebelum memulakan modul pembelajaran. Pembelajaran ini mengandungi 12 modul. Setiap modul haruslah dilengkapkan dan anda juga harus membuka setiap audio yang disertakan dalam modul. Selepas habis setiap modul, anda dikehendaki untuk memberi komen. Untuk langkah keempat, setelah selesai semua modul e-pembelajaran, anda dikehendaki untuk mengisi maklumat penilaian. Akhir sekali, anda akan memperolehi e-sijil setelah selesai semua modul e-pembelajaran. Kiranya anda mempunyai anak berumur 3 tahun ke bawah, anda boleh menuntut Kids Reading Seat di mana-mana cawangan pustaka yang berdekatan. Anda dikehendaki untuk membawa sijil dan buku rekod kesihatan anak untuk tuntutan. Selamat mencoba!
Hai, selamat datang di kursus e-pelajaran pandai. Saya Pengenalan merupakan fasilitator untuk program pandai. Untuk kali ini, saya ingin mengajar anda bagaimana untuk menyertai kursus pandai secara atas talian. Jom!
Langkah pertama, buka enjin carian seperti Google dan kemudian buat carian pandai Open Learning. Lihat pada pautan paling atas sekali, kemudian klik pada program Pandai Literasi Digital untuk Komuniti. Selepas klik pada pautan tersebut, anda akan dibawa ke laman utama Pandai. Kemudian anda klik pada butang Join Now untuk menyertai kursus Pandai. Langkah kedua, pendaftaran. Pendaftaran ini boleh dibuat melalui Sign Up with Microsoft ataupun Facebook. Untuk lebih senang lagi, kita masukkan email, kata laluan dan nama penuh kita. Setelah selesai mengisi maklumat, jangan lupa klik pada ruang petak kosong seperti yang ditunjukkan. Kemudian tekan butang Get Start. Seterusnya, klik pada petak seperti yang ditunjukkan, kemudian tekan butang Join Program Pandai. Untuk bahagian ini, sila klik butang Next. Langkah ketiga, sila isi borang A dan B. sila lengkapkan borang A dan B dengan klik pada bahagian seperti yang ditunjukkan. Setelah selesai melengkapkan borang A dan B, barulah boleh mulakan kursus. Kursus ini mengandungi 5 buah modul. Modul yang pertama, pengurusan maklumat dan komunikasi. Modul yang kedua, menggunakan inisiatif digital kerajaan. Modul yang ketiga, berurusan secara digital. Modul yang keempat, keselamatan dalam talian. Dan modul yang kelima ialah modul perpustakaan in a box. Untuk melengkapkan kursus ini, setiap modul terdapat video yang harus dimainkan. Setiap modul diwajibkan memberi komen di ruang komen yang disediakan di setiap modul. Langkah keempat, borang C dan borang maklum balas kepuasan pelanggan. Sebelum mengakhiri kursus, pastikan di bahagian refleksi bengkel untuk melengkapkan borang bahagian C dan borang maklum balas pelanggan. Langkah yang terakhir ialah sijil pandai. Setelah berjaya menamatkan kursus, jangan lupa muat turun sijil pandai dengan klik pada butang seperti yang ditunjukkan.
Selamat mencoba. Bye.
Hai bapa semua serta permata hati anda yang disayangi sekalian. Sebentar lagi kami akan berkongsi dengan anda mengenai kit reading seats. Little Readers Treasure Box ini direka khas bagi memupuk minat membaca di kalangan anak-anak seawal mungkin serta menyokong perkembangan awal literasi dan fizikal si kecil. Kit ini mengandungi satu set kad pencapaian bayi, satu set kad imbasan hitam putih, carta pencapaian perkembangan kanak-kanak, permainan bongkah kayu, papan sentuhan deria, 3 buah buku pembelajaran dui bahasa bertajuk abjad, nombor, bentuk dan warna dan anggota badan saya. 1 buah buku bacaan beraksi dui bahasa bertajuk Saya Boleh. 4 buah buku cerita kanak-kanak dui bahasa bertajuk Kasih Sayang, Harapan dan Impian, Saya Sayang Keluarga Saya, Ambrose dan Kawan-Kawan dan Impian Saya. Set wayang kulit, carta ketinggian, poster profil bayi, buku modul ibu bapa sebagai rakan membaca dan langkah-langkah untuk muat turun aplikasi Mi Books Plus. Catatkan dan ambil gambar bayi anda bersama kad pencapaian bagi mengabadikan detik-detik indah si kecil anda. Catatkan perubahan ketinggian dan butiran si kecil anda dengan carta ketinggian dan poster profil bayi. Memperkenalkan si kecil kepada bentuk yang mudah dengan menggunakan kad imbasan hitam putih. Gunakan carta pencapaian perkembangan anak ini melalui bongkar kayu sebagai panduan perkembangan dan pencapaian si kecil anda. Contohnya, anda akan dapat melihat senyuman anak anda seawal 6 minggu. Lihat mereka menyusun dari 3 bongkar kayu pada usia 18 bulan. dan lihat keupayaan mereka melompat dengan menggunakan hanya satu kaki pada usia 4 tahun. Mempelajari abjad, nombor, bentuk, warna dan anggota badan dalam bahasa Inggeris dan bahasa Malaysia dengan buku pembelajaran. Membaca sambil beraksi dengan si kecil anda dan perhatikan perkembangan mereka melalui buku Saya Boleh. Mulakan pengembaraan membaca untuk anak anda dengan 3 buah buku cerita dui bahasa, Ambrose dan kawan-kawan, Kasih Sayang, Harapan dan Impian dan Saya Sayang Keluarga Saya yang dihasilkan oleh penulis dan pelukis tempatan. Galakkan si kecil untuk menceritakan impian mereka berasaskan ilustrasi sahaja melalui buku Impian Saya. Berhibur dengan set wayang kulit sambil mengenal haiwan, bentuk yang mudah dan juga karakter yang mudah difahami. Model untuk ibu bapa ini direka khas untuk ibu bapa bagi memahami menjalankan aktiviti yang meningkatkan literasi dan perkembangan si kecil mereka di rumah. Bukan itu sahaja, sebahagian daripada program Reading Seeds dengan kerjasama Perpustakaan Negara Malaysia serta semua perpustakaan awam negeri, anda juga akan menerima aplikasi Mi Books Plus yang mengandungi lebih daripada 300 judul buku kanak-kanak. Semua buku tersebut dilengkapi dengan audio suara naratif dan kesan bunyi serta suara yang boleh dirakam. Sila imbas kod QR di belakang modul ibu bapa dan muat turun aplikasi dari Apple App Store atau Google Play Store. Masuk aplikasi dan klik Join and get 2 weeks free. Kemudian cipta akaun baru dengan email dan kata laluan anda. Untuk mengaktifkan akaun aplikasi Mi Books Plus anda secara percuma selama setahun, kembali semula ke laman web tadi, masukkan email yang didaftarkan dan kod pengaktifan yang telah disediakan di belakang modul ibu bapa. Mudah sahaja. Pilih salah satu buku dan tekan butang berwarna pelangi. Klik pada mana-mana karakter atau ayat di dalam laman buku untuk mendengar narasi oleh pelakon bersuara profesional.
Di saat aku membuka mata untuk kali pertama, segalanya kelihatan kabur.
Untuk merakam suara naratif anda sendiri, lakarkan sebuah bentuk dan tekan lama pada bentuk tersebut untuk merakam suara anda.
Butterfly. Butterfly.
Jadilah seorang pencerita yang lebih berimajinasi. Kami berharap anda dan si kecil anda memperolehi manfaat hasil daripada bacaan bersama dengan kit Reading Seeds ini, sekaligus memupuk minat membaca untuk generasi yang akan datang.
Hai semua, hari ini saya akan berkongsi tentang cara mendaftar e-pembelajaran Reading Seed dan langkah menyertai modul pembelajaran. Untuk langkah pertama, buka enjin carian seperti Google dan type Open Learning Reading Seed. Kemudian, klik pada pautan paling atas. Selepas itu, klik pada butang Join Now. Untuk langkah kedua, di sini anda akan diberi pilihan sama ada menggunakan Microsoft, Facebook atau akaun email. Tapi sebaiknya saya sarankan anda untuk menggunakan akaun email. Langkah ketiga, anda diminta untuk mengisi butiran lengkap sebelum memulakan modul pembelajaran. Pembelajaran ini mengandungi 12 modul. Setiap modul haruslah dilengkapkan dan anda juga harus membuka setiap audio yang disertakan dalam modul. Selepas habis setiap modul, anda dikehendaki untuk memberi komen. Untuk langkah keempat, setelah selesai semua modul e-pembelajaran, anda dikehendaki untuk mengisi maklumat penilaian. Akhir sekali, anda akan memperolehi e-sijil setelah selesai semua modul e-pembelajaran. Kiranya anda mempunyai anak berumur 3 tahun ke bawah, anda boleh menuntut Kids Reading Seed di mana-mana cawangan pustaka yang berdekatan. Anda dikehendaki untuk membawa sijil dan buku rekod kesihatan anak untuk tuntutan. Selamat mencoba! Kiranya anda mempunyai anak berumur 3 tahun ke bawah, anda boleh menuntut Kids Reading Seed di mana-mana cawangan pustaka yang berdekatan. Anda dikehendaki untuk membawa sijil dan buku rekod kesihatan anak untuk tuntutan. Selamat mencoba! Kiranya anda mempunyai anak berumur 3 tahun ke bawah, anda boleh menuntut Kids Reading Seed di mana-mana cawangan pustaka yang berdekatan.
Assalamualaikum dan selamat pagi semua.
Untuk membawa sijil,
Anda sihat?
buku
Diharapkan sentiasa dalam keadaan sihat sentiasa. Seperti sedia maklum, kita sekarang masih dalam tempoh pemulihan negara fasa 1. Diharapkan semua masih dalam keadaan bersemangat dalam meningkatkan kawalan kendiri dan sentiasa positif tidak kira di mana jua anda berada. Baiklah, bagi yang bekerja dari rumah pula, saya ucapkan selamat bekerja dan diharapkan anda semua mengekalkan prestasi dan menjaga kesihatan mental masing-masing kerana dirimu begitu berharga. Cewah macam tu pula. Untuk pengetahuan semua, topik yang akan kita bincangkan pada pagi ini amatlah menarik, iaitu pengenalan program Pembangunan Lestari kepada Masyarakat bersama penceramah jemputan kita, iaitu Dr. Floriana Lendai Michael. Dan untuk pengetahuan semua, beliau merupakan seorang pensyarah kanan Fakulti Sains Kognitif dan Pembangunan di UNIMAS. Baiklah, kita akan mulakan program kita dengan menjemput beliau untuk berkongsi dengan lebih lanjut tentang apakah itu program Pembangunan Lestari kepada Masyarakat. Dipersilakan, Doktor.
Okay, terima kasih Fikri atas that brief introduction tadi, dan juga saya ingin mengucapkan selamat pagi kepada semua hadirin pada hari ini. So saya akan menggunakan mix bahasa lah, both English and Malay for this sharing session, I would call it. Jadi mungkin saya boleh menerangkan sedikit sebanyak mengenai my experience in sustainable development. Jadi saya telah melakukan conducted a few research activities and projects yang berkaitan dengan pembangunan lestari kepada masyarakat, dan daripada 9 tahun yang lepas semasa saya start getting myself involved dengan perkara berkaitan dengan sustainable development, masa itu saya rasa konsep pemahaman pembangunan lestari sampai ke hari ini masih lagi agak rendah. Not because we're not doing anything, but because they don't know what they are doing is actually contributing to a sustainable development. So today I would give you a brief lah, apa tu sustainable development, and then what is related to sustainable development, a little bit of history of what sustainable development is, and apakah our tasks as a community members, as ahli masyarakat, what can we do to achieve these SDGs. And then saya akan berkongsi lah sedikit sebanyak mengenai personal work that my team and I have done yang ada berkaitan dengan SDG. Okay. Official definition of sustainable development, saya akan cite from Berlin report in 1987, okay, di mana sustainable development is the idea that human societies must live and meet their needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Okay, kalau first time when you hear this definition, the one thing that caught in your head was like, what does that mean? What does it mean? I don't understand. So you see, if you look at this slide, okay, what do you see? You see industrial revolution, okay? Towards the end of the second half of this 19th century, okay, this is where industrial activities are being done so actively. Di mana-mana kita akan dengar orang kerja kilang ni, kerja kilang itu, kilang pembuatan ini, so everybody is making something, building something, and they're taking resources from the trees and everything, because we need it all. It's raw materials kan, bahan-bahan mentah untuk kita build a house, build anything, could be residential area to shop houses, semua benda kita perlukan bahan mentah. Jadi during the second half of the 19th century, the economic and industrial activities yang terlampau rapid ini telah, whether we like it or not, it has impacted our environment and social balance. Why do I say this? I will talk about it a little bit later. Okay, so these several ecological and social crises took place in the world, and this has raised the awareness lah. Kenapa kita perlu ada kemampanan ataupun kelestarian, konsep yang perlu kita pertengahkan, especially at this time. Okay, so ingat ni industrial revolution that is rapidly going on. Then see what happened. because the industrial revolution keep on going on. This is actually my personal photos, you know. When I went to China and I see that, I want to tell you a little bit story about this. So in this place called Kunming, okay, in China, so what's going on here is that untuk dalam polisi negara mereka di sini, okay, iaitu kalau kamu berada, you are actually from a village atau kampung, bukan dari bandar ini, you cannot get a permanent job, okay. Macam kita di sini, kalau saya daripada Kapit ke Nawit pindah ke Kuching, I still can get a job, okay, I still can work, saya boleh kerja, you know. Tapi dekat sini tak boleh. Sebab diorang nak mengurangkan imigrasi, migration daripada kampung ke bandar, bandar ke kampung lah. Both way pun diorang nak kawal. Meaning that if you were born and raised in that particular district ataupun town, then you have to stay there. Okay? So orang-orang ni, okay, this what we call as village dalam city ni, they cannot get a proper job. So what do they have to do? Okay, so they have to get a day-to-day job lah, whatever that they can get. So they have what we call as a people market. Bukan jual manusia, tetapi you can go there and get someone to do a work for you untuk 1 jam ke, 2 jam ke, 3 jam. So and you know, so that's hard because you don't know how much you can get in a day. Kalau ada orang datang untuk offer you a job, then you can get a job. If there's no one who want to offer you a job, then you don't get a job. And bear in mind, there's a lot of people yang would be in that so-called market kan, yang mencari kerja. And then this has also affected their children education. Okay, their children education, sebab mereka yang tidak boleh mendapatkan status macam like a permanent, they cannot get the benefits of the orang yang origin daripada Kunming sendiri. Jadi they cannot get free access to education. So you imagine you have a parents yang tak ada steady job, okay, and you have to pay for your education because it's not free for you. So you don't go to school. So just for your information, Maybank Malaysia actually went all the way there to help to give resources to these unfortunate children, I would say. So they are at the top level of the lowest urban poor. So this is just one of the scenario that I would like to share. And then as this industrial revolution tadi tu kan, okay, back to the first part, okay, industrial revolution rapidly going on and on and on. Jadi you see, this has causes orang yang kaya makin kaya, orang yang miskin makin miskin. Okay, so the inequalities gap has widened, and this is a fact. And even after this COVID, this gap widened even more. Unfortunately, this is really sad. Okay, I will share a little bit on later on. Okay, the effect of before and after COVID, some information that I've gotten from United Nations. So you see, in 2050, imagine this. Okay, in 2050. The projected population dalam dunia ni, dalam seluruh Earth, okay, adalah 9 billion people. Can you imagine? 9 billion people living on Earth in 2050. So the question here is that, well, that would definitely lead to some environmental and social problem. Human basic needs are not met because the resources are depleting. Industrial revolution is not going to stop anytime soon. Okay, if you can see, even in Kuching, there's a lot of shop houses being built. But do we have that high purchasing power? Unfortunately, we don't. The truth is we don't. Okay, so you can see the shop. First, dia buka dekat tempat ni, lepas tu dia pindah ke Seredais. After ni, kalau ada shop houses lain yang baru, dia akan pindah lagi ke tempat baru. So who's going to be taking all these shop houses? In the end of the day, these shop houses will become abandoned. So what happened then? So dia tak selari lah kita punya kemajuan dengan human basic needs kita. So this is what's going on, the real scenario. So because the human basic needs are not met, eventually our quality life pun jadi very low. Contoh, okay, when the resources are not met, you know, our purchasing power is low. Kalau kita nak beli makanan, contoh makanan yang sihat, okay, pun kita tak mampu. If you go to a places bila diorang jual organic food, it is so expensive that kalau you don't have money to buy, if you mean it's just so expensive. Jadi in the end kita beli apa? Barang basic needs di mana vitamin tu tak mencukupi untuk kita punya badan. So you can see human beings are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller by the day. In a way, it does affect our physical body, okay? And the question here is that, what is sustainable development? Sustainable development, you have to have a few questions in your head. How can, okay? how can we offer everyone a clean, safe drinking water? That's number one you have to have in mind. Next is, okay, how do we get everyone an adequate healthcare? Kenapa lari pula? Sorry. Okay, this one I want to share. Wait. Lari. Okay, this one. Sorry, kejap. This is actually a real photo, okay, from my friends. They are serving as doctors. This is the next question we have to ask ourselves is that how can we offer everyone an adequate healthcare, making sure that whatever healthcare that we in the city is getting is also the same in the rural area, and even those in the city, okay, because our general hospital is not enough to accommodate everyone. Okay, some of us have to take some, would require or seek medical attention dari private, but can we all afford that? Walaupun kalau kita ada insurans kan, walaupun kita ada insurans, not everyone can afford insurance right now. Some of my friends that I personally know can't even pay for the insurance monthly premium, because it's just like 100 is a lot. No, 100 you can buy crack of eggs, and like 3 cracks of egg, 4 cracks of egg dengan sayur-sayur, beras yang paling murah 10 kilo pun adalah 20 lebih ringgit. That's only can enough to sustain you for 3 weeks. So you see, it's saddening that even the basic needs cannot be met. The next question is, how can we ensure? Okay, how can we ensure? Macam mana kita nak pastikan that everyone has access to education? Now, during this pandemic, this is the top of the problem right now. Even for university students, it is really sad that some of them laptop rosak pun they cannot even afford to buy laptop. It's so sad. And as a lecturer, we have to be very understanding towards their problem. Ada yang dia ada laptop, ada phone, but they don't have internet access, So when they don't have all this, it affects their access to education, Of course, right now in Sarawak or in Malaysia, kita tak ada masalah dari segi Malaysian getting access to education, as in we can enroll ourselves in schools. There is no problem. Tapi sekarang, because we cannot be physically there, so what happened to these children? What happened to them? And then another issue is that access to education also is our teachers trained, to teach online. And even if they are trained to teach online, right, I have personally seen that not everybody has the capability to conduct classes online effectively. So that also actually affect the access to education in a way, because quality education tu dah kurang. Dia tak dapat menyampaikan the same quality kalau dia pergi, kalau dia pergi berbanding kalau dia mengajar secara physical. So he or she can't deal with it. And so you can see a lot of teachers and lecturers are stressed out, and that will affect how they actually menyampaikan the information or whatever knowledge they have to the students here. So these photos that you see here, okay, are my students and their projects with kids, okay? So I'll talk about this a little bit more later, all right? And next question is, how can we protect biodiversity? Dalam effort kita untuk menjadi negara maju, macam mana kita nak memastikan bahawa our biodiversity is being taken care of, okay? And next question is how, okay? How can we take concrete action against climate change? Everyone talks about climate change, okay? And they see it as climate change not happening in our society, because they don't see it. They feel like dia tak kena diri sendiri, so to them, you know what, this is not happening to me, it's happening in other country. We don't really get to see all this except for banjir, all right, in our country, which is, I'll consider ourselves as blessed. But another issue I want to ask you is that, adakah masalah negara lain bukan masalah kita? Because kebanyakan orang yang saya akan dengar, you know what, this is not our problem, kita bukan negara kita. Tetapi, you see, you have to know that we're all living on Earth, okay? Whatever that other people is doing, tak kisah kalau dekat negara lain kan, benda lain kan, dia akan eventually affect us, Which is why sustainable development is for everyone. It's everyone's responsibility. But in a simple word, Okay, in a simple word, sustainable development meaning we need to make sure that how we live today, okay, how we live today will not affect how they and their children live in the future. Okay, the photos that you see here is my son and my niece and my nephew, and every single day when I see them, I have to ask myself, what am I doing today? Okay, whatever that I'm doing today, will it affect or not affect them in the future? Will they be able to run at the beach freely like this? Will they be able to enjoy, cooking marshmallows, at night like this, with no pollution? Would this be able to be enjoyed by the children and of the children of the children in the future? Would their basic needs will still be met? Would they be able to see apple as apple is today? Would they be able to see chicken as live chicken in the future? This is a real global issue. It is not about whether you are a scientist, okay, ataupun the people see it for ourselves, what have we done? So a little bit on what is our responsibility a bit later. Okay, now let me talk macam mana boleh ada
Okey, nampaknya line doktor tengah slow.
sorry.
Okay.
This is also one of the access problems that we're facing. Expect that in a few more times. I'm sorry for that. Okay, back to the history tadi. Okay, this is my slide on. Yeah, this happens like many times also. So,
Doctor, take your time.
Kejap ya. And working from home, you will have your child interrupting you and taking your phone out of a sudden, taking the broadband here and there. So, yeah, it's a problem. Hold on for a second.
Because I muted the internet for the TV.
Okay. Yes. So, hold on. The internet line is so bad. Sometimes okay, sometimes no. I would like to apologize for the problem. All right. Okay, we're back on track. Okay. Oh, can you see my slide?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, it cannot be besar pula tiba-tiba. Okay, it's fine. I will just continue with this. Okay. So back to my story just now. Iklan sebentar. This in 1972. Okay. During this human environment convention, okay, it was being held in Stockholm, Sweden. It was then they created this United Nations Environmental Program. And after this, in 1972, you can go down to 1987. And this is, I would say, the mark of the history of this whole sustainable development concept. Pada 1987, they call it our common future. Okay, di sinilah tercipta or they developed a Brundtland report to the World Commission on Sustainable Development by UN, where all the countries, they get together and they agree on, okay, you know what, this is a real issue in the world and we got to do something to ensure that, the sustainable development concept, okay, it's not just a concept, but an action need to be taken. Jadi in 1992, okay, barulah in Rio de Janeiro, okay, masa itulah they came up with what they call Agenda 21. The Agenda 21 ni dia ada a few chapters. I'm not going to go through to details on that. So dalam Agenda 21, okay, di sana lah dia ada action plan. What are we going to do, okay, in order for us to have a sustainable future, okay? Di sinilah what they have plans in this action plan. You can actually Google this on Agenda 21. There would the information on what are the goals they want to achieve, and what is the action that they want to take. And then after that, in 1993, then they start to monitor lah. Of course, you have a plan. then you got to monitor and you got to start promote lah the implementation of Agenda 21. In 1997, Earth Summit, okay, this is where they review, okay, I think about five years after that, they review and they renew the commitment to implementation of Agenda 21. Okay, Malaysia is also part of it. Walaupun kita tak ada like a signing secara, how to say, official, but we pledge, we commit ourselves, to the Sustainable Development Agenda. Jadi pada tahun 2000, okay, then they start to develop what they call as MDG, Millennium Development Goals, okay. So tetapi masalah dengan Millennium Development Goals ni, dia dalam menjurus kepada this not secara too holistic, okay. You see, in order for us to be a sustainable development community, contohnya, okay, we need to ensure that kita tengok daripada semua segi, okay. One specific problem, tapi kita tengok dari segi ekonomi dia, kita tengok dari segi sosial dia, kita tengok daripada impact environment dia. So it's more holistic, which leads to this SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals in 2012, where it is called the future we want. So this goal is until 2050, okay? 2030, 2050 dia ada dia punya timeline dia, okay? Alright. Jadi secara asasnya Pembangunan Lestari, okay, dia ada 9 prinsip. Prinsip pertama adalah manusia menjadi fokus pembangunan lestari. So kerana manusia berhak menikmati, kita semua berhak menikmati kehidupan yang sihat dan produktif dan harmoni, okay, dengan alam semula jadi. Kita berhak, okay. And then prinsip kedua untuk pembangunan lestari adalah, okay, kita haruslah memastikan, okay, semua negara, okay, yang mempunyai hak sepenuhnya, kita haruslah memastikan, negara kita haruslah memastikan aktiviti, okay, di bawah bidang kuasa Malaysia, for example, dan kawalannya, any aktiviti yang kita lakukan tidak menyebabkan kerosakan alam sekitar atau kawasan yang melampaui batasan bidang kuasa negara kita. Okay, dan prinsip ketiga adalah hak untuk membangun mestilah ditunaikan, okay, untuk kita memenuhi keperluan pembangunan dan alam sekitar yang saksama untuk generasi kini yang akan datang. So pembangunan kita buat sekarang, it has to be something that the future generation can also experience, instead of getting these ruins, tapi something yang, 20 or 40, 100, 300 years ago, our cucu-cucu tu, dia boleh menikmati pembangunan yang kita telah buat sekarang. Yeah. Then that leads to prinsip keempat. Untuk mencapai, okay, pembangunan lestari, pelindungan alam sekitar hendaklah mengenai proses pembangunan yang terkami. Maksudnya, it has to be holistic. Okay, when we talk about environmental preservation or conservation, it has to be holistic. We're not only looking at one slide, okay? Because in order for something to be sustainable, you have to see it from different perspective, like I was saying.
So, pada secara dasarnya, prinsip pembangunan lestari ini berkaitan dengan alam sekitar lestari lah, Doktor.
Yeah, it is basis. Yeah, towards the end of the basis is you want to be rich, okay, but you want to be healthy, okay. But in order for it to be rich and healthy, you got to have an access to the healthcare, okay. And at the same time, okay, you want to make sure that you get to breathe good air, Kalau tak, okay, like you are rich and then you have money, okay, but then you cannot go up because the pollution is so bad. You have to put on triple mask, maybe on oxygen tank. You're gonna bring it everywhere. So what kind of quality of life is that? So that alam sekitar is also very important. You want to go out. You want to be able to breathe fresh air. You want to be able to terjun dalam sungai Cina, dekat Matang tu, and then play with the water, clean water. Where there's no rubbish. We want to be able to, experience that, touch the trees is not toxic, So yeah, that's why you have this prinsip nombor keempat. And then prinsip kelima adalah semua negara dan rakyat hendaklah bekerjasama membasmi kemiskinan sebagai satu keperluan yang wajib untuk pembangunan lestari. Okay, this one I will lead to the SDG later on. And then prinsip ketujuh, okay.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Can you make your slide bigger?
Make my slide bigger. Yeah, okay.
In a view.
Okay. Just now there's no button. Let me
Thank you.
One. Okay. All right. Okay. So, which leads to prinsip yang ke-6. Okay. Keadaan dan keperluan asas negara membangun. Okay. What does it mean by this? Is that terutamanya negara yang kurang membangun dan terlalu hello. Yeah. Okay. So we have to make sure that every negara, not just looking at Malaysia, but other negara, okay, they are able to also be concerned about those developing countries like our countries where activity ekonomi kita lebih rancak because kita nak membangun banyak benda kan. Jadi we have to make sure that it is also our responsibility to ensure that semasa kita hendak membangun our cities or our negara, it does not affect the alam sekitar. Okay. And then prinsip ketujuh adalah setiap negara hendaklah bekerjasama dalam semangat pengkongsian sedunia untuk memudahkan. So we have to have one voice, one goal. Everybody needs to work together in ensuring that ekosistem bumi kita terjaga. Dan prinsip ke-8 adalah negara hendaklah mengurangkan dan memberhentikan pola-pola pengeluaran dan kepenggunaan yang tidak lestari dan memajukan polisi-polisi demografi yang sesuai. Okay, so it means here that when we want to produce something, we have to make sure that the products that we produce is sustainable. What do we mean by sustainable? Dia bukan sekali pakai. Once you use it, that one day you just get rid of it. Ataupun when you come up with something, it cannot be easily dissolved. So macam especially electronic stuff, you have to put it aside and then what to do next. So if they can create something that we can use for a longer period of time, then that is considered sustainable. And then prinsip ke-9 adalah mempertingkatkan kefahaman saintifik dan teknologi. Innovation is actually one of the most important part because we gotta continuously innovate, okay, to innovate product, innovate ways, approach, for us to reach that sustainable development goal. Okay. Dan prinsip ke-10 adalah menggalakkan kesedaran dan pelibatan awam dengan menyebar maklumat secara meluas. So whatever that Pustaka Negeri is doing right now it falls under prinsip ke-10. We have to create awareness to others. And this is actually a very good platform. And I have been thinking about, okay, how do we want to make sure that the community needs to be in the know? Sebab if the Pembangunan Lestari cumalah fokus kepada perancangan negara tetapi rakyat tidak memahami konsep Pembangunan Lestari, then there's no point because they would feel like they're not in the plan. They would feel like they don't have the responsibility. So which is why this kind of platform is actually very important, and those who are attending today's platform, like you will also be the people that is responsible to spread the concept and awareness of kenapa pentingnya Pembangunan Lestari di dalam kehidupan kita. Okay, so sustainable development pillars. Okay, you can actually group it into 3 dimension. Okay, tetapi dia bukan berpisah. Dia integrated. Dia macam Venn diagram that you see here. Social, environment, and economy. Jadi macam mana tu? Kalau social itself, we'll be looking into quality of life, quality kehidupan. Dan lepas tu kita akan tengok dari segi education, pembangunan community, equal opportunity, everybody can get a job, everybody, I want to buy whatever I can buy, and if I want to go and attend something, I can. If I want to get scholarship, I can, as long as I met the, criteria. And then law and ethics. And if you look at economy itself, we're talking about pengurusan resources, we're talking about environmental protection and habitat restoration, preservation in the environment. Okay. And then, so basically here, what the main point of these sustainable development pillars is that kalau kita boleh mencapai economic growth, social inclusion, and environmental protection, and its balance, then we can achieve sustainable development. So kalau kita dapat achieve that three pillars, okay, and it's not balanced, dia mesti balance. Dia tak boleh satu lebih daripada satu. Dia tak boleh, you cannot say that you want to focus on environment and you want to focus less on social, or you want to focus less on economy. No. At the time when we want to focus on economy, we have to take into consideration apakah impact that terhadap social life, also not just social life, social, and then impact that terhadap alam sekitar. Okay, so that is sustainable development secara as a whole. Now, we're going to touch on sustainable development goals. This is the most, like I would say, the latest agenda that is related to sustainable development. I'm going to share a YouTube, okay, that has been shared by Sustainable Development Goals under United Nations. So it's a short video. So I would like to allow you guys to watch first, and then we can discuss further. Boleh dengar?
Yes, Sector.
Boleh dengar, okay.
At the UN to adopt new global goals. These 17 goals provide a roadmap that will
Doktor tak boleh dengar.
achieve sustainable development.
Ya.
Okay.
What
Okay.
is sustainable development and how does it affect us? Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. But what does that mean? 193 countries will meet at the UN to adopt new global goals. These 17 goals provide a roadmap that will help the world achieve sustainable development. But what exactly is sustainable development and how does it affect us? Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. But what does that mean? Everyone understands the need to grow their economies, but not everyone takes into account the negatives that imbalanced economic growth can have on the environment and on people's well-being. It's time to change that by looking at the world in a different way. The Sustainable Development Goals will help us to do that. Sustainable development is about the big picture. It's about improving the lives of everyone, everywhere, and achieving all these things together. But it's also about the details. That means we want economies to grow, companies to thrive, and people to have decent work. We want to create new, innovative technologies, but not by harming the environment. We want everyone to have access to nutritious food regardless of where they live. We want affordable and quality education for everybody, not just a few. We want freedom of speech, but we don't want that to mean violence. But how can we achieve all of this, and where do we even start? Well, the 17 goals will mean member states, alongside civil society stakeholders and major groups, will be working together for the next 15 years, looking at ways we can do business differently so that everyone gains. With these 17 global goals as our guide, we can achieve sustainable development and live in a world where people and planet benefit. But we have to act now. This is the time for global action. To find out how you can get involved and learn more about the goals, go to www.un.org/sustainable.
Okay, so we got to start now, it says. So you can see from this sustainable development, in a nutshell, it means that we want to make sure that there is no poverty, okay? We want to make sure that everyone has access to education. We want to make sure that we have good health, okay? And then we want to make sure that everyone has equal opportunities. No, it doesn't matter. We're not only talking about gender here. We're talking about, wherever you are, everybody have the opportunity to do what they want to do, according to the law, of course. And this means a lot to me because I feel like sustainable development is such an important topic because I personally want to see that, okay, we want to see that the earth, okay, is healthy. We also want to see that the people that we love will be able to live a good quality life. We want to be able to see that, if my children can have access to education, I also want other people to have the same opportunity as well. And SDG actually can also be categorized into 5, okay? People, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. And we focus on these 5 categories, and at 17 SDGs, we're able to gain a lot, and everybody will have, I would say, theoretically, a good life. Okay, let me share SDG goal number 1, no poverty, okay? The aim here is to end poverty in all its form everywhere. Okay, kita tak nak kita nak membasmi kemiskinan. Okay, but this is a real situation now. Sebelum COVID, okay, the world was off track to end poverty by 2030, okay? And then young workers are twice as likely to be living in extreme poverty as adult workers in 2019. And then with the COVID-19 implication, now like we're not even like, we're still having issues to end poverty. Then COVID-19 came in, then it causes the increase of the global poverty in decades, after trying to membasmi kemiskinan. So it is, we're getting there, not getting there, but we are progressing towards it. Then COVID-19 increases, and you can see right now news all over the place where people commit suicide. They were not able to meet their ends. What do? They don't know where to go, what to do. Of course, we have this white flag movement and all, but unfortunately, this white flag movement, I can see that some are taking it as an opportunity to show off, what they have done for other people. If you are one of them that is doing that, I would suggest you to stop doing it. Let us do things for people by not blessing it or displaying it in our social media, because it is not easy to seek for help. And if they seek for our help, then we should not embarrass them or humiliate them. Kita buat benda, kita tak perlu show dengan orang, okay? So this is a real problem. Yeah. Yes, Fikri.
Saya setuju dengan apa yang doktor katakan sebentar tadi. Sememangnya sekarang semua mengalami masalah not that mental, I mean kita punya kesihatan mental terjejas akibat COVID. So saya bersetujulah dengan apa yang doktor katakan sebentar tadi.
Yeah. Yalah tu. So it's this very very disheartening to see lah. And it's not getting any better. Dah lah kita dah ada SDG goal number 1 lagi tu, to eradicate poverty, and then COVID-19 come in and it's really it's so sad to see. Then we want to end hunger. Okay, whatever that we're trying to do right now, we want to achieve food security. Okay, we want to improve nutrition. They put at nutrition, because imagine kalau you makan mi Maggi every day, what's going to do to your body, right? It will be so bad for you. And even if you said you want to eat egg every day, it's also not good for you. You have to have balance. You got to have protein. You got to have all this nutrition, balanced nutrition for your body to work properly. Kalau tak nanti, then you will feel very slack, you feel very stacky, you feel very, very tired. It's all diet. Jadi, before 19, the food insecurity was already on the rise. Okay, maksudnya, the population is affected to, food that is not healthy for us, and cara pembuatan makanan tu adalah tidak sihat dan tidak not safe. It's not safe to be consumed. We eat a lot of fast food. We eat a lot of, the canned food. It's actually very bad for us. Tapi yalah, we are having that problem. Everybody wants fast life. We don't have time. We gotta rush. We are always in a rush. Kita kena kerja long hours. Bila dah sampai rumah penat, so kita take whatever meals that we can take that is fast. Jadi sebelum before COVID-19, kita masih lagi mempunyai masalah yang quite on the rise lah, secara seluruh dunia. And after COVID-19 implication, even worse lah, the situation nowadays, and the stunting and wasting among children are likely to worsen. Okay, maksudnya pertumbuhan budak-budak akan terbantu. Maksudnya we get smaller, or they decide smaller. It's just everything's affected. That will definitely affect them mentally. Okay, and then during this COVID-19 implication, right, the small-scale food producers are hit hard by the crisis. Contohnya dulu, before COVID-19, kita akan tengok lah, at least lah penjajah, dia akan berjajar dekat tepi jalan, they sell sayur, banana, and I always buy from them. And sometimes I don't even know how to cook that sayur, but I just buy, I just buy it only, because I want to help the local food producer. I want to help them. If I can do,
doctor.
Yeah.
Just to support them.
Yes. And then sometimes they bring their children to menjajah next to them, and I feel sad. And every time when I see that, I will look at my son, I will tell him that, you see, I said, we have to help them. I said, we have to help them. So as parents also, I think it's very important for us to also start doing our duty. We have to start telling everyone that we need to help each other. No, like you and me, this is not just my life. This is not just about your life. It's everyone's life. So if everybody would have that kind of mentality, right, that would really help a lot. Even up until now, when I buy things, I will look into Facebook Market and I will see what is the local seller selling, you know. Of course, there's some option kita tak jual, then I have to buy from Shopee lah. But kalau ada benda yang saya rasa saya boleh beli daripada local seller, I will buy. Even pagi tadi pun I beli daripada local seller juga, my charger. So it's one of the way we can help lah, you know, this small businessman, woman. And then third is to ensure a healthy life and promote well-being for all ages. Before COVID-19, the progress in many health areas continued. Okay, of course, there's an acceleration on it lah, tuberculosis child. I think Malaysia is doing a good job, you know, in terms of our healthcare sebenarnya. I was even told by some of my friends that, you know, we even have one of the latest technology in our hospital. Cuma we don't have enough, but we do have, you know, I've seen my friends, they are very competent doctors, medical healthcare, and so we do have a good immunization program, but there are many places in other world, they don't have that. Macam kita kan, we take this for granted. When the government told us to bring our baby for injection, for vaccination, some of us take it for granted. Kita tak bawa pun anak kita for that jab. Diorang tak tahu yang that jab costs a lot of money, but we are being given for free. So this is the kind of awareness I also want to tell people, like, hey, you know what? Our country is giving us a really good healthcare system. Kalau dekat luar negara, kalau you tak ada insurance, you go to the public hospital pun you kena bayar a lot of money. You know, imagine the comparison here. Kalau kita beranak dekat GH, for example, paling-paling 80 ringgit, 60, 70 ringgit, depending on what is the problem. Then kalau if you go to a private hospital, easily reach up to 10, 8K. You know, that's a lot of money. So I just want to tell you guys that, you know, Malaysia is actually doing pretty well there. Walaupun right now, because of the COVID-19 implication, it has disrupted the healthcare, not just us, but around the world, okay? So which is actually very important for you to get yourself vaccinated. If you haven't got your vaccination. But if you are still waiting, I hope you will get yours very soon. The next SDG keempat adalah to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Basically, to make sure that everybody get to study, everybody get to have knowledge, you know, to get knowledge, to obtain knowledge, and have access to all these education platform. Okay. Then SDG kelima, okay, actually we're running out of time, so I gotta expedite a little bit. I've only given 1 hour. SDG 5 is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. We're not talking about feminism here. Okay, a lot of times when they talk about empowering women, saya dengar orang akan cakap pasal, oh, you know what, don't be such a feminist. No, we are not talking about feminism here. We're talking about how other women support other women, encourage other women, instead of degrading them, downgrading them, instead of commenting on them, instead of making other people feel bad about themselves. Empowering meaning that, for example, for myself, contohnya, if Fikri is a woman, you know, I would tell Fikri, you know, Fikri, you can do this, you know, you can definitely, you know, work harder, you know, we can, in what way can I help you, in what way can I motivate you, macam mana saya boleh bantu kamu untuk mendapatkan motivasi. This is empowering them, you know, we put power, insert the power and make the field boost up, you know, so that's how we're empowering women and girls. We tell them that nobody can tell them not to do what they can do. No, because we culturally, you know, we have to set, no, men do this, women do this, okay? I am not saying that women can take over men. No, do not get me wrong. I'm saying that we have to make sure that we don't have a mentality where, you know, women are weak, okay? We are not weak. And we have to tell the women and girls that education is still important. Even if you become a housewife, can you imagine being at home right now, teaching your children, tapi you tak pandai sifir, you tak pandai bahasa Inggeris, you tak pandai sains, you tak pandai pendidikan seni. Can you imagine all that problem that you have to face? Jadi, even a housewife need education. You need education. I have a master student who is a housewife, and she asked me, I don't know, is it okay for me to take master? And I'm like, oh, what do you want it for? What do you need a master for? And I said, it all depends on your purpose. If you want to take your master degree because you want to be better, you want to empower yourself, okay? You want to be able to have added your knowledge into yourself. Take it. So there is no problem of you trying to add on your knowledge or your qualification. There is no problem. Tak kisahlah mana progress career kamu, knowledge is never a waste. Okay. Now moving on to SDG 6, to ensure the availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. This is still an issue, especially in the rural area, to get clean water. Okay, we still have that problem. Okay, we even when we send filtration, even if UNIMAS have done quite a lot on that problem. We, like some of my friends, they actually went to Lama, they help them out on how to filter water. Tetapi how sustainable is it? Because we cannot always go there to help them fix the thing, So we have to do some knowledge transfer. We have to teach them how to fix it. Yeah, they have to be an engineer, a technician to solve it. So this is a responsibility of the university to the community. And the SDG 7 is affordable and clean energy. Okay, we want to have an energy that is a clean one. Like clean water, clean energy, like water, like hydro, sun or solar energy. So this is one of those examples that can be given. Of course, okay, kadang-kadang there is also an argument saying that, okay, if you have hydro, okay, that's also not sustainable for the environment. We don't need that many hydro, actually. We only need not many, basically not many. I'm not going to touch on that, but we don't need that many. Okay, as long as we can make sure that the hydro that we have is fully functioning, then that will be okay already. So, all right, moving on to SDG 8. Promote sustained and inclusive sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. Basically, this means that we want to make sure that everybody get a job. Simple word, SDG 8. Everybody get a job. Everybody that get a job that's able to sustain your life and contribute to the economy. Bukan saja dapat kerja, tapi mendapat pekerjaan yang boleh membantu ekonomi. Dan ke-9, build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovation. Wah, panjang kan? Tapi basically this means that kita, when we come up with infrastructure, kereta api, jalan raya, kita kena pastikan benda tu boleh diguna untuk tahun-tahun yang akan datang. Especially when you go to like European country, right? Some of them, you will tengok track jalan yang diorang guna beratus tahun tu masih ada lagi. It's quite sustainable. And then to promote sustainable industrialization, foster innovation. I think I've talked about this just now, how we need to make sure that we're always innovative in creating products and services to others. Reduce inequality within and among countries. Number 10 is income inequality. I've also have touched about that. Then sustainable development. 11, making cities, human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Okay, we want to avoid population living in slums. We want them to live in proper housing, kesian lah tengok kadang-kadang, they live too near to the wastage area, drainage area. It's very unhealthy, unhygienic. Who knows the kind of smell that it's just so bad. We want to avoid that. We want to make sure that everybody gets to live in a residential area di mana adalah selamat dan sihat untuk kanak-kanak kita membesar. Okay, and also talking about air pollution. This is also still a problem, especially in China. You can really feel it. Your face, kadang bila you bersihkan, you look at it, it's black. All this dust coming out from the industrial zone. And then SDG 12 is ensuring sustainable consumption and production patterns. How many of you switch off your light after you don't use it? Many times we leave our aircon on, we don't switch it on, and it's not necessary, it's not hot, we switch it on. And no doubt, it's hard to live without aircon nowadays. But are we using it accordingly? And bila kita tak pakai, kita guna, kita jangan buka. So this is something that even I still have to train my son to switch off the lights every single time you don't use it. I'm actually looking into a kind of light that lalu je dibuka. So waiting for it to be more affordable for everyone. Because I remember when I was studying I was attached to Denmark University, right? That I think in Korea also they have that. You must switch about the light up. Bila you tak ada 3 seconds, they tutup. So that actually can help a lot in terms of a more responsible consumption. And eat what you need. Don't take extra. Then urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. SDG 14, we talk about conservation of oceans, sea and marine resources. This is also a huge problem worldwide. SDG 15, we talk about protecting and restoring and promoting sustainable use, okay, of of this forest. So the forestry, like they are working very hard, you know, to educate the community, making sure that they menggunakan bahan-bahan daripada hutan tu secara optimal, and also educating them kalau tak ada benda ni apa akan terjadi, you know, so to ensure that they have a sustainable livelihood. And then SDG ke-16, promote peaceful inclusive societies. Basically no war, peace, no war. Okay, this is SDG 16. SDG 17 is partnership. You know, one of the example is our Give Later. You know, partnership, partnering with other states, other company, or inter-city, inter-country, inter-organization, to ensure that we are able to revitalize the global partnership for a sustainable development. Okay, so how's Malaysia doing so far? Okay, Malaysia, this is actually based on this what they call as VNR, Voluntary National Review in 2021. Based on this website, okay, for SDG 1 no poverty, our performance is supposedly going up, okay, but I suspect that with COVID-19, I suspect it will menunjukkan penurunan. Okay, yang nombor 2 adalah achievement adalah stagnant, okay, no hunger. Tak ada perbezaan, masih sama. And then well-being kita ada moderately improving, okay, by right. Tapi this is before COVID-19 okay. And then SDG ke-5, okay, SDG ke-4 adalah inclusive education, stagnant, sama. SDG ke-5 dan 6 pun moderately improving. In renewable energy, you can see the trend is going up because there's a lot of innovation, research, grant yang being given to universities, non-universities, NGOs, untuk membantu dari segi innovate a cleaner energy. Same thing with SDG 8 and SDG 9. Tapi kita ada information on SDG 10. Untuk SDG 11, Sustainable Communities pun moderately improving. Tak ada information on SDG nombor 12. SDG 13, 14, 15 kita menunjukkan progress yang stagnant. Sama je. Okay. Yang ke-16 ada peningkatan sikit. Partnership global kita menurun. Okay. And untuk UNIMA, sorry. SDG implementation dekat Sarawak adalah, there's a lot has been done by the NGO, CSO, universities, but I'm just going to name a few, okay, sebab kita kekurangan masa. Awareness program to the community such as this, okay, and then we have...
Actually, you can extend the time. We can extend the time if you need.
Oh, I can extend. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just talk a little bit more about this then.
Okay.
And then we have to like reduce dependence on the fossil fuel generation, okay, and move towards a low carbon economy. We're looking into a more cleaner energy lah untuk menggunakan after SCB is looking into a more cleaner energy. I can see SCB is doing a lot. I mean, they have worked a lot with UNIMAS as well, looking into sustainable clean energy as well as the well-being, the social well-being. I would say they're one of the good examples of SDG implementers. I'm sorry, my son is behind. You know, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Like, sorry for that. Then we have to reduce rates of biodiversity, okay, loss through a scale-up access benefit, where will be a sharing of biological resources with indigenous communities. Basically like this, we are doing a lot of activities, going down to the ground, to the rural area, okay, we tell the community, okay, kita tak nak kacau your livelihood, tetapi untuk memastikan your livelihood tu tadi tidak efek terhadap environment, then this is what you can do. So they are doing this licensing to, you know, for them to use the resources in the forest. And then I think we have a lot of NGO, CSO that has been established to help out with achieving this goal. I have a few of my friends who go down to the ground also to educate the community on what SDG is about, you know, what are they doing that they can relate to SDG. So the next slide is what is the elements of a sustainable community is leadership, civic and engagement, and responsibility. This is quite a lot, okay? But in order for us to be a sustainable communities, our leadership hendaklah tulus. Okay, dia kena tulus lah. You know, when we do things, we're gonna be honest. It has to be transparent. Okay, civil engagement tu kena ada. Okay, you must engage with the society not only during voting season, but even non-voting season. I'm saying just giving out there. Whoever that is a politician, you got to give it, you got to show that you really care. You know, you don't just go down to the ground only when it's during the voting time. Okay. And I think this is a scenario that everybody can see. In order for you to help the community, you got to go down yourself to go and see what the community needs by yourself instead of just reading report. Go down to the ground and see what is the problem. Really, what is the problem? Don't go down with police escort and stuff, but really go down and just go down and see lah what is the problem dengan community, especially the part that you are fighting for, whoever that is a politician lah. You know, go down to the ground and then just go and talk, sit di kedai kopi, even at kedai kopi, sit down and listen. You know, what can you do? Apa sebenarnya masalah? You know, sometimes people tend to sugarcoat things, you know, but you know what? We are here to help each other, right? In order for us to be more sustainable, we have to know the real problem. Then we can fix the real problem. We fix the root of the problem, not just the atas, you know, the tip of the iceberg. And then ecological integrity, that we talk about economic security, social well-being. So these are the elements of sustainable development, sustainable community. We got to make sure that our place is safe from crime and aggression. We have to foster a community spirit to create a sense of belonging, a sense of place, a sense of self-worth. Sadly, right now, we can't go out and do some event outside. But I think secara virtually, Malaysian are pretty, I think Sarawak are quite that one, how to say, bersatu lah, you know, like everybody starts sharing things, you know, and people are more aware. And that's really very, I would say culturally, we are very strong in that. Semangat kemasyarakatan kita sangat strong. Okay. And then, so what can we do as a community members, okay? And how can we work towards a sustainable future? Okay, looking at this energy conservation adalah part yang sangat essential untuk membina a sustainable communities, okay? Because this is to ensure that whatever energy that we're using right now, in the future, our children still can use that. You know, kalau tidak nanti in the end the day dia balik kepada suhulago and cari kayu and to masak, you know, because you know we don't have any more energy, right? Then waste reduction, okay? So we actually produce a lot of waste. So we have as a community, kalau boleh kurangkanlah kita punya waste. Kalau waste tu masih boleh lagi di reuse, then we should reuse. And kalau boleh, in the future, I hope to see we segregate our waste. Like the Japanese is already part of their life where they segregate their waste, non-food and food. You know, so kalau non-food and food boleh dipisahkan, jadi yang non-food tu kadang-kadang maybe other people rasa, you know, another man's trash is another man's treasure. So like someone that I know, kalau nak buang anything, sometimes they akan go down and ask someone, you know, do you need this? Do you want this? You know, ask other people. Maybe ada orang akan find joy in the thing. So that can also be one of the way that we can reduce waste. And then promotion of local food sources, like I was saying just now, as a community, kita bolehlah membeli barang-barang, produk-produk yang diproduce secara local, especially on food growth, you know, they just help them out. And then development of public spaces. We have lack of public spaces here. I think in Kuching, I will talk about Kuching, we have Friendship Park. And the other park is still under construction. There's a lot of mosquitoes now. So we need more of the public spaces. You know, it's actually very good for the mind. You know, if not, we'll be stuck in our home residential area. It's really sad. And then yeah, so we need more of that. And then pollution control is that there are actually numbers of strategies that community can help to reduce. For example, if you can go on, okay, right now I probably can't, but next time after this COVID, like go together in one group, how do we call that? It's in the back of my head. you know, like if there's as a place that you want to go, you can go together. We can reduce the traffic. And there's a place that you can use transportation, public transportation, then use the public transportation. So it's a good thing that Sarawak is going to come up with our own in improving our public transportation very soon. So that is also one of the way for us to control our pollution. And then support local businesses. So just now we're talking about promotion of local food sources. Now we're talking about local businesses. Support them. That can also actually contribute towards circular economy. Okay. Then energy efficient building. Hope in the future that as a community we will find a house that is energy efficient, you know, or a building that's energy efficient. But I remember there was one building that I've been to. Dia it's a specific floor for specific lift. So dia taklah go up then go down in every level. So dia specific lah on the specific lift will cater to different levels. So dia the second you go up, you should go down because it only cater level 14, 15, 16 for example. Okay, so that could actually help us to get more energy efficient building. For example, also kalau kita boleh create a building where you can use sunlight, you know, so you tak perlu on light. Okay, so macam during the day, you can just buka saja your curtain and you can get the light masuk dalam your living room, so you don't have to keep turning off the light. So that is also one of the way to have an energy efficient building. So I know like glasses, they could be also good. So just use the curtain to cover if you don't want some lights. Then also you know, sometimes ada air wastage daripada tempat kita cuci pinggan tu. If we can have a building that can menyalurkan that wastewater daripada tempat kita masak tu untuk clean our, like filter a little bit and use it to flush our toilet, tu pun one of the example of an energy saving building. Okay, energy efficient building. And then after that, we can look into educating a community. So what we are doing right now, educating community, you listening to this is already part of you listening, getting to know, getting a knowledge, you know, about sustainable development. And then plant trees, you know, and all that, many more community can do. So this is not limited to this. There's a lot that we can do as a community. So now I want to share about what are the projects that we have done. So I'm going to highlight 3 main projects. And there are a few other projects that I have done. So this is one of the latest project that I've done with my students. This is an international project, okay, that we are working with the UK, funded by the UK. Then we're working together with Indonesia and Vietnam. So my team members and I, we are doing a lot of works that is related to SDG. So I've highlighted the SDG that we are trying to achieve here, SDG 4, 6, 9, 11, and 17. So why do I say this is a quality education is that how do we strategize ourselves in making sure that these children, despite the pandemic, are able to have access to additional knowledge, okay? And clean water and sanitation, we're actually training them how to do a water filtration by using whatever they can find around their house, okay? And 9 is fostering innovation, okay? Other than this, what else can they do to replace the items that can be used to filter the water? And then we also ask them to create a house, you know, their dream house. So this is actually to foster the innovation. They're very imaginative. Children are really smart, especially the children nowadays. And all this connection between the university students and community foster a sustainable communities. And on top of this, being funded by different countries, you know, doing something that is similar in other countries, and sharing this information and data and see how can we further improvise ourselves. This is trying to achieve SDG 17 because we would like to have partnership with other people, not just us, you know, kita tak shock sendiri. So this is, I would say, one of the projects that that's close to my heart also, and I'm really proud of my students. Some of them, because of the MCO, they will not be able to do it, but they do it secara virtual, and that is not an easy task. For you to do things virtually, it's not an easy task, especially trying to get attention from the children. It's hard. So I have to salute them for not giving up. And also, I would like to also take this opportunity to thank the parents that also are helping out with this project. And this is what I really miss. I miss going out to going down to the ground and meet with the children and share with them about clean energy, you know, how to talk about reduce, reuse, recycle, connected to and thinking that we could make a difference just typing things out and publishing books or journals. And I believe that we need to go down to the ground and bridge the gap between us and the community. Whatever we know, it is our responsibility to share with people around us. And I think this is why community sustainable development has been really, it's just so close to my heart. I just enjoying going down and sharing with them about SDG and sharing with them that, you know, hey, you know, you can make a difference. Everybody can make a difference. And children are very smart, you know. In order to get to this place, we have to drive few hours, ride on a boat full of crocodiles to get to this place. And it's actually very interesting. So whatever it is, you know, it is our responsibility to ensure that they also have access to education and they get to see things that selalunya student bandar yang dapat tengok, and as well as not being left out, you know, it comes to achieving SDG 4, 7, and 11. Okay, this is another projects that we are doing on studying about how do people cope. Okay, this specifically is going studying on the non-Chinese students and families in Chinese primary school. So how can this affect them? You know, what is the reason why they want to send their children to the Chinese school, and how can we help them to be better? How can we help these non-Chinese parents, you know, come up with a strategy so that they can further assist their family? You know, I know even my sister, they're having problem helping their children when it comes to Chinese class. So, you know, so this research is actually very important because we're coming up with strategies on how to assist these non-Chinese speaking parents and also children that are studying in Chinese school. Okay, so that is what I have to share today on the basic of sustainable development. So remember this, sustaining our world starts with you, and we do this not only for ourselves, but for our children and for their children. And if you would like to reach me, you can email me at this email down there, mmfrendai@unimas.my. Thank you so much, Fikri. Over to you.
Terima kasih banyak doktor atas perkongsian doktor sebentar tadi. So kat sini kita ada soalan daripada peserta kita. So soalan daripada Puan Melanie Steven daripada Bukit Bulan Agro Shop. So soalannya adalah how to start to maintain the biodiversity in order to develop modern agriculture.
Sorry, what was the question again?
How to start to maintain the biodiversity in order to develop modern agriculture.
To maintain the biodiversity in order to develop modern agriculture. You can do a risk assessment first, okay? Whatever the specific modern agriculture that you are thinking of doing, you do some risk assessment, okay? You can do like a weighing if you're going to develop something or implement something, what would be the likelihood that it would impact the environment? One, what would be the likelihood that it would impact the social? So you can use that basis of socio-economic dengan environment tu tadi, and you can, because you can study, because I'm not quite sure what is the specific modern agriculture that you are talking about. So your goal here when you do that risk assessment is that biodiversity should be your goal, because you want to maintain the biodiversity but you want to do this. So kita tengoklah apa dia punya impact terhadap that. So I have to see first, okay, if we can talk, we can discuss this further, then we can do the risk assessment together. Then we can then we can know whether that specific modern agriculture that you're thinking of doing would be beneficial or would be able to maintain that biodiversity. Sebab dia ada macam-macam jenis, you know, modern agriculture. Ada modern agriculture is very green, environmental friendly. So I'm not sure which one you are referring to. And again, I'm not really an expert on when it comes to agriculture modern way, but what I can do to help to assist you is that in terms of doing a risk assessment metric, that one, and then I would have to study more on the criteria that you might require. So that would be my response for that question. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, peserta-peserta lain jika ada soalan yang hendak ditanya boleh ajukan sekarang. So, nak tanya, ni soalan daripada saya lah. For your opinion, from your opinion lah.
Okay.
What is the rating of our sustainability development goals in Sarawak here? Is it good or is it moderate, or what's your opinion?
Well, we have started a lot of effort, but again, in order for me to really measure, okay, the progress towards SDG, right, I have to do another study on that, But in my opinion, it is there, but just a bit slow, I would say. It's a bit slow lah. We're getting there because not many people know about this kan, They are doing what they can, tetapi dia lebih kepada, dia selalu macam ni, the situation kita dekat Sarawak ni. If one person is focusing on environment, okay, so dia kurang sikit tengok social dengan ekonomi dia tak balance, Ada orang yang okay dia nak create something green, tapi how sustainable is that in terms of economy? Kadang-kadang okay, you come up with something green, tapi orang akan tengok apa dia punya ROI. You get what I mean? So it's people need to understand the concept dulu. Selalunya kalau kita tengok sustainable development, people usually kaitkan dengan green. Tetapi kan sustainable development is so holistic kan, tadi seperti perkongsian saya tadi. So that is the problem that we have right now. We have lack of knowledge when it comes to balancing these three pillars when we come up with something, a project. Bila kita come up with something, kita selalu tengok short term. Kita tak tengok long term. Most of the projects we have nowadays. How do we sustain? In the end of the day, kita kena faham, community dah expedite more on community awareness and telling them what they can do. So it's not just about 3R. I think 3R is really famous, but that is just a portion of sustainable development, So I would say that if you were to ask me, in my personal opinion, okay, this is without any statistical data, right? I would say that we are progressing, but just slow. Yeah. Panjang pula jawapan saya.
Thank you, Dr. Okay. So, di sini ada soalan lagi daripada peserta kita. Dia tanya, apakah puak politik ini memberi impak yang besar dalam pembangunan Lestari?
Adakah situasi politik mempengaruhi pembangunan Lestari? Yes, of course. Even when the situation politik is not stable, okay, dia akan affect a lot of things because government is like the engine of everything. Policy makers, they are policy makers, So kalau the situation politik kita tak stable, then it will reduce the sustainable development punya progress, definitely. Yeah, because apa yang nak berjalan, siapa yang akan bergerak, siapa yang akan who's going to give funding, for example, kalau dia berkaitan dengan program-program. So yes, I would say that if our politics is not stable, it will affect the SD. So it's about if you refer to one of my slides tadi, we were talking about if the politics, if the institutional part, sebenarnya kalau admin that three pillars, social, economic dengan environment, dia ada additional lagi institutional. So the institutional tu sebenarnya berkaitan dengan policy maker. So itu boleh it's another side that that is still, it's very important in ensuring that the country is stable. So masalahnya kalau politik kita tak stable, okay, then it will affect on the action plan tu tadi. Action plan, siapa yang akan create the action plan? Who will come up with the committee? It's all the government, pak. Even our current penggerak SDG yang is being chaired by the PM, yang berkaitan dengan SDG tu. So if our Prime Minister is not looking into this SDG, okay, and they're not doing anything that is related to SDG, or if they do not embed SDG in everything they do, it's not going to work. Because if we still see SDG or SD, Sustainable Development, as a different entity, we fail. Because SD dikenal lah, we have to embed everything we do, how we live, how we breathe, what we use. They can embed in everything we do dalam polisi kita. Barulah dia ada impact. Yes.
Sorry ya, doktor, kita ada 2 lagi soalan. So, boleh saya tanya?
Boleh.
Okay. Soalan daripada Jordan. Nak tanya, apa pandangan doktor mengenai industri negara kita? Adakah industri perkilangan sebagai contoh masih lagi ketinggalan dari negara maju dari segi implementation of SDG dalam proses pengeluaran? Nak saya ulang lagi?
Okay, I nak tanya apa pandangan doktor mengenai industri negara kita? Adakah industri perkilangan sebagai contoh masih lagi ketinggalan dari negara maju dari segi implementation of SDG? Yes, because of our policy lah. You know, like I said, you know, we want to be we did say that we want to be committed with this SDG implementation. Tapi kita tak put it as a, like, if you don't do this, you're gonna get this. If you don't do this, you're gonna get penalty. If you don't do this, you go to jail, for example. Ada tapi tak. It's not menyeluruh, you know. And what to say about when it comes to comparison, actually bukan saja masalah. It's not just our negara punya permasalahan, even other states, even negara maju lain pun sama juga sebenarnya. So there is what we call as an assessment of green practices, okay? Yang it's under what I usually use is GRI standard untuk tengok sama ada they are implementing what they're supposed to implement. It is not a must yet, but I think in the future maybe it will be a must for us to come up with a report sama ada this particular kilang adakah dia implement SDG ke tidak. Yeah. So I would say that nowadays memang masih jauh lagi lah our implementation when it comes to SDG. Not only in the factory setting, actually everywhere around the everywhere anyway masih lagi sangat kurang, I would say. Yeah. So I can send the question. What do you think the contract-based employment effect on the future when the jobs are not guarantee of sustainable government proposals? This is we just had this discussion actually with some of my friends, you know, when it comes to this contract-based employment. But it's it's quite how to say it, I have to make sure. What do I think? There's a lot of ways to look at this, I would say. If you look into, I understand what the government is thinking. Also, like they're concerned about not giving a permanent best, you know. I think it's also because of the economy that we have right now. They're not able to provide a better benefits as compared to if you are a permanent best employment, like myself. But I also can understand the concern that the rakyat have, you know, when it comes to the benefits they're getting if they're just getting contract, you know, it's a contract-based employment, you know, you don't have it's not sustainable, of course, so you don't have a guarantee, so you will have anxiety, like you don't know when you can lose your job anytime. It is unfortunate, but it's because of the situation that is affecting the whole world. So if you were to ask me, this is a global issue also. Okay, walaupun kita tengok cuma dari segi Malaysia, if I were the government, I don't know, it would be very hard for us to think about a way out, except through entrepreneurship. That is the only way out for me. If you feel like you cannot handle the pressure, the anxiety untuk kerja dekat sektor di mana dia cuma boleh offer you a contract-based employment, then you have to upskill lah. You have to upskill, you have to upgrade yourself, and then be an entrepreneur, you know? You be your boss. There is a way out right now. Oh yeah. So this is just my opinion lah. Huh? Like, yeah.
Okay, for the last question, sorry doktor, saya mengambil masa Okay, for this question, adakah industri polisi pemotoran kita mencapai tahap kelestarian? Sebab di negara luar sudah pun membuat polisi no more combustion car dalam masa terdekat.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, there's a lot of policies that we need to come up with when it comes to motor car issue. You see, when we want to come up with a greener energy or greener solution, dia pun ada cost juga lah, because you see, if something that is not widely used, okay, then our people cannot afford. Okay, let us not talk about the green. Let us talk about simple as this. As simple as buying a car seat for your kid, for your child. So, ini tak ada kaitan sangat, tapi as simple as that. Rakyat kebanyakannya, they would complain. They will feel like they cannot afford. So imagine if you were going to come up with a car, or we're going to purchase a car, or produce a car that does not use that combustion, maybe use electric or what, right? That is costly. They can do it, you know, but can we afford now? You know, do we have that technology? That's why innovation is very important. You know, a lot of research are being done to see how else can we improve our motor car industry. But no, we don't have that many scientists. A lot of people, they avoid science now, which is why the government is pushing for STEM, you know, because we want to have more innovators, we want to have more engineers, we want to have more scientists so that we can improve our life. Sebab selagi kita masih menggunakan idea, konsep, from other people, you know, from other countries, then we have to pay them for their idea. You know, we cannot just simply copy paste whatever people are doing, you know. Would it be suitable for us here ke tidak? You know, so there's a lot of issues that we have to take a look at. So I would say that another way out here is that we got to be more innovative, you know. Our people, bukan getting other experts from outside. Our people need to be innovative enough to come up with a more affordable green motorcar products. Yeah.
Okay, terima kasih banyak doktor.
Yeah.
Wow, amatlah menarik sekali perkongsian yang telah dikongsikan oleh doktor sebentar tadi. Pertama sekali saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih banyak kepada doktor di atas perkongsian dan juga di atas kesudian doktor meluangkan masa bersama kami. And then saya juga ingin berterima kasih kepada peserta program ini kerana telah setia bersama kami dari awal program sehingga ke hujung program. Okey. Semoga apa yang telah Dr. Floriana kongsikan kepada kita dapat kita manfaatkan bersama. So, Sustainable Development Goal boleh luas lagi dipraktikkan kepada oleh kita. Okey, pertama terima kasih di atas sekali lagi. Okay, bagi yang telah terlepas peluang untuk menyertai kami sebentar tadi, anda boleh menonton siaran ulangan Bicara Sarawak Lestari di media sosial Pustaka Negeri Sarawak, di Facebook dan YouTube channel kami. Sehingga jumpa lagi, saya Muhammad Fikri. Kita jaga kita. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Doktor.
Stay safe.
Tersergam indah megah, menjadi kebanggaan kita, bukti wawasan dicita, maklumat dan pengetahuan, penuh terhimpun harta ilmu untuk kita terokan. Pustaka Negeri Sarawak, wadah ilmu untuk semua. Bersama kita manfaatkannya. Pustaka Negeri Sarawak, berteknologi dan berusaha, berkhidmat ikhlas untuk kita. Pustaka Negeri Sarawak. Tersergam indah megah, jadi kebanggaan kita, bukti wawasan dicita, maklumat dan pengetahuan, penuh terhimpun harta ilmu untuk kita taruhkan. Pustaka Negeri Sarawak, wadah ilmu untuk semua, bersama kita manfaatkannya. Pustaka Negeri Sarawak, berteknologi dan berusaha, berhikmat ikhlas untuk kita. Pustaka Negeri Sarawak.